So what do you remember about growing up there? What was your youth like?
It was happy. Yeah, I always had well, you know, being poor Eleanor, you know, I got anything I wanted. I was, and who was really the bigger part of my life was Uncle Ernie. If I needed a report card signed, he signed it. And if I had was absent from school, he would write the note. So he was a big part of my growing up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how about your dad? What do you remember about him growing up?
Well, my father was an alcoholic, and it, of course, it was not easy with him, but he was fine. I mean, he was a good father.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And working, and
Yeah.
I mean, everybody worked right there, so.
Well, how they did later, I don't know how they did it at first, but how they did it later on. One Uncle Ernie would make deliveries, excuse me, for 6 months, and then my dad would work for 6 months, and then the rest of the time they took it easy.
Really? Well, who did the milking?
Or they had milkers.
Okay. Did they give room and board to the milkers, or how did?
No, well, on one I can remember they had, but the other one, his name was Joe Mimi. He worked for them for years, and he was married and he had his own house. And yeah.
So actually, it was a small operation in that
Yeah.
they had one milker.
No, two.
They had two milkers.
Two milkers.
Two milkers, maybe 30 cattle, 20.
Oh no, much more than that.
Wow.
Because they had in the morning they made delivery. I think it was mostly to downtown businesses, and then in the afternoon they had 2 milk routes in the evening.
And basically, they sold almost all their milk. So
Yeah,
they milked
yeah.
and got rid of it in
Yeah.
one.
And there would be people coming in to get skim milk, which was they gave away because it wasn't any good.
Oh my gosh! And how did they deliver it? In glass bottles? I mean, I don't even know.
Yes, in a glass bottle.
And
later on, I would say maybe, was going to high school, I did bottle the milk for them by hand.
so was there did they have a processor or some way to wash the bottles? Did they exchange the bottles? I
There
never
must
even
have
thought
been.
about this.
They had to, yeah, they had to because naturally when they delivered the milk, they picked up the bottle from the previous delivery, and so I don't remember really too much about that, but yeah, they had to.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quite an operation. I mean, I didn't even.
Oh yeah.
So did they have a refrigerating unit for or does that come in later?
You know, tell you the truth, I don't remember. No, I don't.
Or some way that they must have gathered the milk in some large kind of vats, or was it all in cans and bottles?
Again, I must have been. I really don't know. I mean, as a kid,
Yeah, you don't.
who remembers that?
No, you don't. You don't think about that. That's true. Well, great. So, okay, tell me a little bit about your schooling then. And
Well, as I say, I went from kindergarten to the 6th grade at Galt School was the name of it. Then I went from 7th to the 9th grade at Bradsaforty School was the name of it.
What's the name of it?
Branciforte.
Branciforte?
Branciforte.
B-R-A-N,
You could try. Yeah.
okay, Branciforte,
Yeah.
okay.
I think there's, I know there's a street name after that. And I don't know if there's a park, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember.
So did you walk to school, or
Mhm.
you were close? So you
Yeah.
were within the-
And then from the 10th grade until the junior year, I went to Santa Cruz High School and walked to school.
Wow.
And that was, we were on the east side of Santa Cruz, and the high school was on the west side. So you had to go downtown and up to the west side.
So it took you quite a while to get to school.
Yeah, once in a while we would, we had a neighbor that was in my grade, and once in a while we would hitch a ride with her father going to work.
So you were there from the time you were born, 1926,
Mhm.
until you left on your junior year,
Yeah,
and that would be about 1941,
yes.
something like
Uh,
that, 41.
42.
So this era, you were right in the middle of the Depression. I mean, the Depression was right there, and then the war, you must have, I don't know where you were when the war was declared, but
I was
Yeah.
in Santa Cruz.
you were in Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
So, okay, so tell
When
me
it
about
began-
your thoughts about that, the Depression and
Well,
the war.
I can remember my father and I went to Bank of Italy, where they closed the banks down. I can remember that, going there, and then the bank being closed.
For the Depression.
Yeah, yeah,
You mean your dad had money in there and that was it?
yeah. But it seemed like to me that the Depression never really hit us very bad, I don't think, because I can remember my father having a new car during the Depression. What happened, I don't know, but I don't think, we always had a lot to eat, you know, they grew their own vegetables and that type of thing.
So that's great. You didn't
Yeah.
didn't
No.
have that. Or what about, were there migrants that came in, or people who, I don't know what kind of, were there any other ways that you knew that there was a depression or anything like that? Or
Well, I was quite young, you
yeah,
know.
people
so-
on the railroads or something coming in through, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
trying to
I
think.
don't remember too
remember
much
too
about
much.
it, other than remember going to the Bank of Italy.
Right.
With my father, yeah.
And then, so, what about when war was declared?
I was walking home from high school, and I heard that the war had been declared, and I thought, oh, how terrible.
So you were about, how old, 15, 16, something like that?
When did the war start?
1941, December 7th, or 42, I can't
One.
remember.
Yeah.
41, I think.
Well, I
Yeah,
guess
41, I
I
believe.
must have been 15,
Okay,
something like that.
right,
Yeah.
wow. So you must have known some kids who ended up going into the service that were maybe a year or two afterwards.
From Washington High School, not
Washington,
from
then.
Santa Cruz.
Okay. So what were the circumstances of you leaving Santa Cruz?
Well, every vacation, from the age of 10, every vacation I would go up to the Bauhofers.
Oh,
Yeah.
tell me about that.
Oh, that was fun. My fun time. It was to be able to come up to the Bauhofers to spend my time off. I would take the Peerless bus from Santa Cruz to Centerville, and somebody from the Bauhofer family would pick me up and then take me to the dairy where Chadburn had their, they had their business at, or their dairy at the Chadburn Ranch.
Oh, so
Yeah.
from the time you were 10, so this was in 1936 on, about that time.
Mm-hmm.
And the Bauhofers did not leave there until 38. So
Mm-hmm.
so you would go, where did the Peerless bus go? I mean, where did it leave you off?
Right downtown, what would be there, there was a post office downtown,
In Centerville?
Senator Klein's Bar.
Yes, across the street, yeah.
What else was there? Well, this is when the post office was on the same side that Klein's Bar was.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So from the time you were 10,
Mm-hmm.
that was quite an adventure for a 10-year-old to get on that bus.
Well, I guess so, but I did it. And I can always remember coming over Santa Cruz Mountain, and then you could see the whole valley, and I think, oh, I just love this, you know. 'Cause-
I bet it was. The
Yeah.
valley was filled with apricot orchards and
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
at that time.
yeah.
What do you remember about that time when you would visit in the summertime? What was it like at that place? At the Chadbourne Dairy?
Meaning like what?
What you remembered, what you did, or what it looked like, anything you remember?
Well, it always seemed like Lily had something planned. I remember she had a lot of boyfriends. One thing I remember, one time, the whole family was going to go to San Francisco to, I think, a dance or some kind of a function, and no young people were supposed to go. So I stayed with the cook, Mrs. Ayler, up in the, what do you call that house?
Oh, the carriage house?
Yeah, the carriage house, which is now what, the mystery house?
Yeah, well, they use it for the Halloween.
Halloween, yeah. And I slept with her. And I remember she had a down blanket and pillow, and oh, it was really. And then I got up in the morning and went out in the field with the man that took care of the field, you know, mowing the hay and things like that, and was on a wagon which was drawn by a horse, and that was that was a big time for me. Yeah.
And then they had quite a big dairy there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They were milking a lot of cattle
Yes,
at that
they
time.
were. Yeah.
Wow, how fun it was
Yeah.
for you.
Oh yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So Lily was how many years older than you?
12.
Okay, so, all right, so from 10, she was already 22, she was already out of high school and everything,
Mhm.
so, all right, so I'm trying to get that idea. So you came and you stayed, so most of your day was with Lily, or
I would say, yeah.
Mrs. Bauhofer,
Yeah,
or?
yeah, just everybody at the dairy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
How great. So what did you do when you were there? Like you said, Lily had things planned, so she took you around places?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I younger years, I don't remember too much, you know, what we actually did, but it's always busy and always enjoying myself.
Oh, how fun.
Yeah.
So then what happened, why did you decide to leave in your junior year? What happened?
Lil and Johnny asked me if I would like to come up and live with them. And that-
Oh, so they were married now?
Oh, yes, yeah.
Okay, so that was a change, because when you first started coming, Lily and Johnny weren't married.
No.
Okay, so when they got married, which would have been around 40 or 40, somewhere around that.
49,
40.
39.
39 they got married.
Yeah,
Okay, so that was sort of the trigger, they
yeah.
asked you to come.
And so they asked me, and then naturally they asked my father, and I think he reluctantly said yes, but of course I was person who always got my way.
And it did sound pretty intriguing to you, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
You were really looking forward then to changing schools and so
Oh,
on?
yeah, oh, yeah.
Oh, you're quite an
Oh,
adventurous
yeah. Oh,
person. I mean, some people would say, oh, I don't want to leave my friends. And
No, I was ready to, I even, when I went up there, I kind of went out with a couple of, not a couple, a fellow, and I was gone.
so at the end of the summer, then you moved
Mhm.
to, where did you move? Where did you go?
We lived on Oak Street, which was a house that belonged to Joe Bauhofer.
Okay, so you went, I know that house. I
Yeah,
remember that house.
yeah.
So, okay, so Lil and John Whiffley, that's who they were, had this house on Oak Street. So you just moved in with them
Mhm.
when you were 16 years old.
Mhm.
And you started in September then at Washington High School.
Yes.
All right, so,
And I didn't have to study too hard for the simple reason I think Santa Cruz High was, how shall I say it, ahead of Washington High, so I didn't have to study too hard.
so what are your memories of high school and, I mean, moving here and the
Well,
whole thing?
I thoroughly enjoyed living with Johnny and Will.